I've been. Dreams are seeds we plant, my friend. Dusty boots, but a heart of gold. Your story's waiting to be told. Inventive journey, here we go. Through highs and lows, we let it flow. Startups rising, small but shine. Your time is now, your stars align. Cowbell ring and feel the beat. Hustle hard, don't take a seat.
Hey everyone, this is Devin Miller here with another episode of The Inventive Journey. I'm your host, Devin Miller, the serial entrepreneur that's grown several startups into 7- and 8-figure businesses, as well as the founder and CEO of Miller IP Law, where we help startups and small businesses with their patents and trademarks. If you ever need help with yours, just go to strategymeeting.com, grab some time with us to chat, and we are always here to help. Now, today we've got another great guest on the podcast, Richard Turcott. And Richard started his journey going off to the College of Massachusetts to study liberal arts, and then took a few business classes as well as marketing, and ended up graduating, going and getting an MBA. Along the way, I worked for some consumer packaging good companies. I did a 6-month internship as he was studying, worked for a number of early stage technology startups, and then after the internet took off, focused on marketing and product management, and then grew into some CMO roles, and worked with several startups, both had some successes and failures, and now focuses on doing marketing consulting. So with that much as a quick introduction, welcome to the podcast, Richard.
Thank you very much, Devin. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely excited to have you here. So, well, I just gave kind of a quick overview to a much longer journey. So why don't we rewind and unpack that a little bit? So tell us a little bit about how your journey got started, going to study liberal arts in the College of Massachusetts.
Yeah, sure. I studied liberal arts at Assumption College, now called Assumption University. And I really didn't know what the hell I wanted, similar to a lot of undergrads. I knew I liked business, but I really didn't know what function within business was my thing. So I took it all, right? And I discovered quickly that accounting and finance are not my jam. And that leaves just about everything else. And I stumbled upon marketing. I've always been very aware of advertising that's been thrown at me, even when I was a child growing up in the 1970s, and been fascinated with all the different pitches that I would hear on the radio and television and newspapers. And that sparked my interest, and my career really started in marketing from there. Went on to get my MBA at Northeastern University, and that's where I put a laser focus on marketing, and was fortunate enough to have had a cooperative experience at Kraft General Foods as I was getting my MBA.
Maybe just one follow-up, or on the undergraduate, did you finish the liberal, or did you study liberal arts, or did you go more into business? And you went and gone to get an MBA, but just on the undergraduate, what did you graduate or get a degree in?
It was a liberal arts degree with a concentration in business administration.
All right, fair enough. So, all right, and I jumped in. So you come out, you got the MBA, and I think during that time you kind of hinted at you did kind of an internship, doing some kind of consumer packaging goods, working for a consumer packaging goods company.
Yeah, I did. I worked for Kraft General Foods. They're one of the big ones, and got some delightful big marketing experience where even as an intern working at Kraft General Foods as an MBA co-op, I was managing coupon activity for 50 million households in the United States, which was pretty cool when you think about the impact and reach of your work. And that was fun. And that was part of my MBA education. Coming out of my MBA, I fell into marketing and product management work at a number of different companies. I started out at the larger companies, similar to Kraft General Foods. I worked for a company called Information Resources Incorporated, IRI, and they are in the business of syndicated scanner data. So as a consumer, when you buy something in the supermarket, all that stuff gets loaded into a database. That information is processed and value is thrown at it. And then your customer is a large consumer packaged goods company, and you sell that data back to the consumer packaged goods companies to help them with their store movement data. So I had
Hmm.
two clients. I had Ocean Spray, which is here in Massachusetts, and I also had Ben and Jerry's, which is up in Vermont, a few hours away from where I live and work. Those were exceptional experiences. Got a flavor for corporate cultures that were being developed, the differences in corporate culture, which is a really important thing. But more importantly, I really it allowed me to sharpen my marketing skills and take those into more, I would characterize it as entrepreneurial endeavors. So taking best
Hmm.
practices that have been established, that have been around for 50 plus years, and then applying those best practices and fundamentals to earlier stage, mid-stage companies has been delightful for me. And
Now, just kind of curious when you, or so what, worked for a lot of big companies, big accounts, and did that for a while. What
yep,
kind of took you towards, the kind of the opposite side of the industry, which is more on the startups and kind of early stage, and even on the technology side, kind
yep.
of what pushed you or shifted you in that direction?
Yeah, great question. So I've always been a technology lover. I sent out my first commercial email marketing campaign in 1994, if you could believe that one. And savored it. I love the new medium. I love the technology that was evolving with the World Wide Web and the combination of my love for technology and my affinity towards technical people, as well as my love for marketing. Those were two great tastes that tasted great together back in the mid 90s because the internet was just getting off the ground. Companies needed earlier stage technology companies needed a lot of those fundamentals to be brought to work for them to help grow their organizations. And if you remember, everyone was in a hyper fast race to the top. It was the first dot-com bubble, and people were working pretty aggressively to grow at all costs. And
Hmm.
I was part of that machine for better or for worse. And again, learned a lot there and was also responsible for a small business resources called Companies Online. It no longer exists. It was part of the Lycos umbrella. That's the internet startup that I worked at the time. And it was company information that you can find online. It's hard to believe there was a world where that was actually a thing because it's so ubiquitous now. But that really started my passion for helping small and mid-sized businesses, not only as a full-time contributor, which has been the majority of my career, but also where I'm at now, helping small and mid-sized businesses, their investors, their leadership teams, and their founders grow more efficiently
Hmm.
through better marketing and go-to-market strategies. And that's
No,
what I'm
that makes
doing right
sense.
now at Collaborative Growth Partners.
So now, just before we dive into what you're doing now, so you did that for, I think you worked for a number of startups, and you kind of ended up, I think, doing marketing, product management, and growing into the CMO role. Kind of was
Mhm.
that a natural evolution as you were kind of working for those? You kind of gravitated towards
Yeah.
managing that aspect of the business, or kind of how did you kind of evolve into that role as you're working with the various startups?
Yeah, well, I've always admired the role of chief marketing officer. It's a different role than a vice president of marketing or vice president of demand gen or vice president of any X that you can think of. A CMO role, you're really an orchestrator across all of those subdomains of marketing. And the breadth of my experience, I was really lucky to have large breadth in my experience. I was never solely focused on one of those silos. So I fell into that role pretty easily and eventually ended up becoming chief marketing officer at a mid-stage company called Constant Contact. They
Hmm.
are an email marketing service provider. So if you're picking up the theme here, they're a technology company. They were early to mid-stage themselves. They needed marketing leadership, and I was a good match for their needs back at the time.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. So now you did that for, a number of businesses, a number of startups, and then walk through. So what kind of led you to kind of shifting again a little bit to doing your marketing or consulting
Yeah.
business? Kind of what led you to, it sounds like you like the technology, like doing it for those, you did a number of CMO roles. What made you decide, as opposed to continuing on with doing those as startups and small businesses and taking on that role, to rather start your own thing?
Great question. So going back to Constant Contact, our target market at Constant Contact were very small businesses. And by very small, that means 0 to 9 employees, for God's sakes, right? So our target market was the chief cook and bottle washer, those early stage entrepreneurs with a great idea, a great product, but not a lot of commercialization experience. And at the time, email marketing was a fantastic tool. I believe that it still is to reach your customers and develop a deeper relationship with them. It's all common knowledge now, but back when I was at Constant Contact, about 20 years ago, our biggest competitor at the time was Outlook, because
Hmm.
most small businesses said, why do I need to pay an email marketing service provider when I could already communicate with my customers via Outlook? And there are a number of differences. And part of my charter was to help educate the marketplace so that they understood the benefits of using an email marketing service provider. But along the way, I really fell in love with these very small businesses, this very small business community. At the time, there were 27 million small businesses in the United States. The vast majority of them, over 80% of them, were very small businesses under 9 employees. So when folks talk about the small business community, most of those small businesses are, I'm sure, clients of yours, clients of mine, and companies that really share those profile characteristics. And I fell in love with that. I love the excitement that was in that community. I love their ability to learn and pick up new things and their passion for growth. And what I was doing at Constant Contact was helping to accelerate that passion and that desire to grow faster. And that's where I
Gotcha.
really developed a really deep affinity with the small business owners, not only at large, who I was marketing to, but also within my own community, family members, friends who were small business owners. I really allowed me to press that button a little bit harder and learn a little bit more about their day to day. And I fell in love with it. And now I'm doing it full time as a consultant.
So now, how did you kind of start the consultancy? In other words, was this something that you started on the side, or you had a few select clients, or you said, "Hey, I want to go all in," and you just jumped in, or did you kind of
Yeah.
transition, or kind of how did you get that started, and kind of what time frame or when did you get it started?
Yeah, it found me, to be quite honest with you, because, on one side of the equation, I was working um, pretty good full-time jobs. And, with a reliable pay, you're never wondering where your next paycheck is coming. And then on the other side, I was being contacted unsolicited for consulting work as well. And that's choppier, right?
Hmm.
You got to hunt for your own bear. And I'm not really a business development person inherently. I'm a good marketing person, but not sales or business development. So I juggled that for a little bit and finally netted out on the consulting side. And here's why. At this point in my career, I am lucky to do more of what I want to do and a little bit less of what I have to do.
Hmm.
And my endeavor moving forward with collaborative growth partners is definitely on the side of the fence, which is more of what I like to do. I love having an intimate relationship with small business owners and small business leaders, helping them to solve their puzzle. Every business has a very distinct and unique puzzle to solve to grow their business, regardless of, the products they're selling, the personalities involved, the resources that they have available, the time. All of that plays into the mix. I really enjoy working with small business owners to help them crack the nut and find cost-effective ways to grow their business.
Hmm.
I share with everyone on the consulting side and talking to CEOs, as well as my full-time roles, helping my CEOs. I tell them all, if you want 30,000 or 3 million new customers at the end of this year, I could get them. Most marketing professionals can. That's not where the art and the science of marketing come to play. The art and the science of marketing come to play when you're trying to accomplish the goals that you've set for yourself and your company and accomplish that with the resources that you have available,
Hmm.
right? So
Sure.
obviously, if you're a small pizza shop trying to fill seats on a slow Tuesday night in the middle of winter, okay, that's a small business problem. But that business isn't going to be able to afford Super Bowl ads, just for a gross example. So again, the art and science of marketing comes into play. How do we leverage the resources, the expertise, and the product that we have and go to market cost effectively in a way that we know that we could scale and put our foot on the gas pedal confidently without being afraid of losing money or making another costly marketing mistake. And that's where I come in.
So now, when did you start the business, or when did you kind of dive in full time on the consultancy side?
I've been doing it on and off since 2014. So I had a run of about 2 or 3 years, up to about 2017, where I was doing it full time. And I started again almost 2 years ago.
And when you
This
say
is
started again, what would I would assume it implies a bit of a gap in there. So kind of what was that
Yep,
gap, or what caused you to start, or kind of stop, pause, and then start again?
early stage companies that were offering me full-time employment, who really had a clear need for uh, better best practices, uh, more understanding of the fundamentals, not only of marketing, but of business in general.
Hmm.
And that allowed me to exercise what I'm good at and feel gratified from the work that I was doing without the risk of running my own business.
Gotcha. Now that makes sense. So you circle back a couple years ago, jump back into the kind of the full-time consultancy, but maybe catch us up. Where's kind of the business at today? And if you'd also look kind of out in the next 6 to 12 months, where do you see things headed?
Yeah, well, right now I've got three clients. One client is a startup. They're pre-revenue. It's a health tech startup, really small. And in that company, interestingly enough, I'm playing more of a chief operating officer role. So I'm helping the CEO more with the general management aspects of launching this company. And I'm really loving that. My other clients, I am helping more at a tactical capacity to help them scale their marketing and their marketing tech stack. And they're very different clients, different profile attributes. But at the end of the day, I get that same warm feeling in me, helping these folks grow their businesses and helping them with fundamentals, helping them focus more on the basics and less on the bright, shiny objects, which seem to be thrown at us at a daily basis. There is probably 10 new AI tools that exist right now that did not exist when we began this conversation 20 minutes ago.
No, definitely would agree on that point. So that follow up again, or just a little bit more on that. So kind of now looking out this next 6 to 12 months, where do you see things headed, or kind of what's the next stage that's in store for you?
Yeah, next stage is more business, more clients. We're all interested in more growth. I am looking for clients that specifically really meet my profile characteristics. I'm looking for humility. I'm not looking to work with entrepreneurs who know it all coming in through the door. And most of them wouldn't probably talk to a firm like mine anyway because they know it all. But you do get a little bit of that from some of the potential clients, and I'm just not interested in that. I'm looking for humility. I'm looking for an eagerness to learn. And most importantly, I'm looking for an entrepreneur or founder's eagerness to grow, both personally and an eagerness to grow their business. And you might think that's ubiquitous. It is not. And if I could work with entrepreneurs who have those profile characteristics, I'm on cloud nine.
No, that's awesome. Sounds like it's a great place to be, as well as a great place to be headed. So
It is.
Perfect. Well, now as we've kind of caught up to the present day as to where things are at and a bit as to where things are headed, great time to transition to the two questions I always like to ask towards the end of each episode. So the first question I'd like to ask is, along your journey, what was the worst business decision you ever made? What did you learn from it?
On my journey, the worst decision I ever made in business was I worked 2 years on a pretty large loyalty program when I was at Lycos. Lycos, again, is that startup that I joined earlier in my career, and they competed with Google. It was a search engine that was available before Google was around, if you can imagine that. There were a lot of players in the space. It was very competitive, but we were one of the biggest. I was
Hmm.
responsible for direct marketing there and loyalty. And I built a loyalty program that involved granting people rewards that had economic value who did certain things on our portal or our internet property, whether they were buying things or visiting websites or whatever. We were giving out points, and those points had economic value. It was funded by third-party partners of ours. So we had a lot of e-commerce partners at the time. So it was a beautiful match, right? E-commerce companies would fund these points. They would get new exposure on our site. And we were able to identify who our best customers were in a better way because they joined the loyalty program. It even had a credit card attached to it where you got points for credit card purchases. My big honking mistake there is I did not do enough internal stakeholder collaboration and selling. I was hell-bent on getting this program out the door. And gosh
Hmm.
darn it, if I didn't get this program out the door, I was going to be a miserable failure. So I'm getting this program out the door. What I failed at miserably was introducing the concept of the loyalty and rewards program to our sales and business development teams at Lycos. They were simply making more money selling other things than my program. And I should have spent as much time building a stakeholder relationship within our organization around this loyalty program as I did actually building it. And the
Hmm.
learning I took from them, I have carried into every experience since. And even today, when I'm coaching CEOs and senior leadership teams, I encourage that cross-functional collaboration. It's a very cliche term, but boy, I felt the sting of that when I didn't do it properly. And I've been a student of that ever since.
No,
So
that's
to answer your question, that's
easy.
the biggest mistake I ever
Absolutely.
made. Yeah.
No, absolutely an easy mistake to make, but it sounds like a great one to learn from. So now with that, follow up to that, the second question I'd like to ask is, so now if you're talking to somebody that's just getting into a startup or small business, what's the one rule of thumb you'd recommend?
Yeah. So the biggest thing, and it's the most common thing that I coach my clients on, and that's clarity. And that's have clarity around your customer base. Who is your ideal customer? Okay. Really put a lot of effort into that. We could talk about that. The other is clarity of the value that you bring to the table. Many entrepreneurs are spread too wide. They're taking a shotgun approach. I'm going to appeal to everybody and hopefully I pick up some business from one of them, right?
Hmm.
It's painful to take out that, the laser because you're like, I'm sacrificing opportunity that I'm not pursuing. Why should I focus on this one sliver? Okay. Or why should I focus on these two segments? Again, I could teach a class in that, but the answer is somewhat obvious, is that it allows you to focus your messaging, your product, your customer support. You could really rally the troops and get your organization to row in the same direction rather than feeling like you're throwing spaghetti against the wall every single day and figuring out how you're going to measure the impact of that and whether or not it's actually working and scratching your head thinking, am I wasting my time and money right now? So the more clarity entrepreneurs have in their customer base and understanding their customers, the value that they bring, as well as depending upon the size of the organization, clarity of execution. So everyone on your team should know the why in addition to the what and the how.
Awesome.
And
No, I think that's
and that's a mistake that I made back at Lycos that I just highlighted, right? I didn't do a good enough job communicating the why. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. No, I was going to say that's I think it's a great rule of thumb, and to focus on that clarity and the different aspects definitely can avoid some issues as well as put you in a positive direction. So I think that's a great rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Well, now as we do wrap up towards the end of the episode, if people want to reach out to you, they want to be a customer, they want to be a client, they want to be an employee, they want to be an investor, they want to be your next best friend, any or all of the above, what's the best way to reach out to you, contact you, find out more?
Right. The best place to reach me would be my website, which is collaborativegrowthpartners.com. And that has all the information you need to know about me. It's got a link to my LinkedIn profile and contact information. So I would love to speak with you if you're looking to grow, and I'm your partner in growth moving forward.
Awesome. Well, I definitely encourage people to reach out, support a great business, expand their network, and if nothing else, make a new best friend. So with that, thank you again for coming on the podcast. It's been it's been a pleasure. Now, for all of you there, listeners that are out there, if you have your own journey to share and you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, we'd love to have you. So just go to inventiveunicorn.com, apply to be on the show. A couple more things as listeners, make sure to click share, subscribe, leave us a review, helps us to reach even more startups and small businesses to help them along their journey to success. And along that note, if along your own journey, if you need help with patents or trademarks or anything else with your startup or your small business, feel free to grab some time with us. Just go to strategymeeting.com. Well, thank you again for coming on the podcast, and wish the next leg of your journey even better than the last.
Peace. Thank you.
We plant, my friend. Dusty boots, but a heart of gold. Your story's waiting to be told. Inventive journey, here we go. Through highs and lows, we let it flow. The startups rise and small be shine. Your time is now, your stars align. Cowbell ring and feel the beat. Hustle hard, don't take a seat. Every step you're blazing trail. Inventive journey never fails.